15.8 seconds. Am I reading this right? Hold on. 15.8 fucking seconds. Seriously. 15.8. 15.8. Was there even a point in this when other people had a chance? Hold on, let me go back. Is he still leader there? Yeah, lap 21 he's leader. Lap 6 he ain't. Lap 9 is when it all started going downhill. Hold on, let's do this.
Brewing for the lead. Larson up to second. Young Money pressuring for the lead on turbo Tyler Erb.
Look at this. Look at this car. Look at this. He got held up there. Let's look at this overhead shot. He lost ground there. Right there, he's just able to somehow pull Moran, who just didn't even make a mistake. Larson had to, get on the binders. Let's watch this. We'll analyze this race for the lead, which there's no way it was, apparently. There's no way this was a race for the lead. Erb's up the track, makes a mistake, and here comes the rocket ship. Erb's up the track. Riding the cushion. He's got the momentum line, right? Apparently, momentum does not matter when Larson's around you. Erb's still, okay, better through the center and then off the corner. Nope. It's just in another world. This car that Larson is in here. Although Larson, of course, is driving it. But it looks like his wheel's not moving as much as Erb's, so who's driving harder? I don't know. I thought right here he was screwed. Man, you're behind lap cars, but lap cars are just as fast as the leader. Erb with the good move. I'm showing this part because this is the only part of the race that was a fucking race, apparently. In lap traffic, you see Larson's car just daylighting him. And then, so we saw this the last lap, and Larson didn't, Erb didn't pull them too much. Larson, though, his car is just stout. Erb trying to throw a slider. That's not going to work. Bye. Just bye. And now it's over. Watch this. Oh, my God. At that point right there, Erb knew he was fucked. If you're going to have any... At that point right there, Erb knew he was fucked. And everybody knew they were fucked. It was over. I saw it. I was watching it with some friends last night. And when I watched the car just roll like it did and watch their cars not roll like they did, it was just over. It was just completely over. Now, what I find very hilarious about this whole ordeal, we'll turn it down just a hair, is people are trying to say it was the car, great crew, and great Kevin Rumley, which Kevin Rumley, obviously a history in making amazing cars. I mean, Kevin Rumley and Jonathan Davenport basically retired this Bloomquist era of dirt late model racing, those who remember correctly. I mean, Kevin Rumley and Davenport came onto the scene and basically changed the game for dirt late model racing. Now you put Larson in the car, and I do think, I partially do think that what's happening here, hold on, we'll get to your finishing results as it's unofficial, apparently. What I do partially think that's playing a factor here with Larson's, really, I mean, when you watched him run that car last night, it looked like another level of smoothness, accuracy on the wheel, accuracy on the pedals, how he was working the throttle off the corners. You could see how he was keeping the car underneath him. Whether the car was perfect or not, he was. I mean, Kyle Larson was perfect. Now, I'm starting to think, I had some modified guy message me and say, this just proves how great the open wheel drivers are. Trying to say, and this guy, he's competed, this guy's a modified guy. He runs different types of racing throughout the year. He's a top modified driver in his area, but he's also dabbled in the Chili Bowl and some other stuff. And he says the open wheel drivers are just better drivers than the fendered guys. That's what he was alluding to. And then I'm sitting there like, well, that don't make no fucking sense, buddy, because Donnie Schatz doesn't do what Kyle Larson just did. He don't even come close. A top 10 for Donnie Schatz in a late model is a fucking win. You know, the only time Donnie Schatz wins is when it's like local jokels and they're just like he's doing push-ups, you know, somewhere in the Dakotas or something, Wisconsin. But what I think is really transferring here as far as Larson is honestly a mixture of his, you know, open wheel dirt experience. Obviously, it's faster on dirt, so things are slower when he gets into the late model. But also the Cup experience. You know, these are very suspension-dependent vehicles, the late model. And I think that when he comes over and is obviously this is his fourth race, actually, well, fifth night, I think you would call it, with the 2 nights at I believe it was 2 nights at Portsmouth, and now the 5th night here in the late model. I think his Cup experience is starting to move over into the late model. I think the ability to work the throttle and brake and make a car rotate really well is what's playing a factor here more so than his sprint car experience, which is just, you know, nail the throttle. And there's some diverse pedal work in that as well, but it's not a full body car. It's not rolling over and transitioning like a late model. But a Cup car and a late model does have some similarities. Of course, that's why the prelude to the dream was late models. And some of the NASCAR guys didn't have too much of trouble transferring from the NASCAR Cup vehicles that they were running to the prelude to the dream late models. I mean, you saw Jimmy Johnson and Kyle Busch able to do it because there's some similarities on how you go through the corner in those cars. You could tighten them up enough to the point where you really don't got to slide them too much. You can kind of just work your throttle and brake to get them through the corners and set the car evenly and kind of balance. It's kind of like, balancing the car through the corner to where it stays rotated and going the right direction. I think that what he's doing is really interesting as well. What is happening? You know, I had a video actually I want to allude to just a little bit. I didn't want to, but I might as well. I posted this vehicle, or this video, not vehicle, but somewhat of a vehicle, because I mean my racing is on here and I win all the time. But it's on YouTube, but it's on Facebook as well. The problem with Larson, they want to do it to late models next. This was made on August 3rd, prior to anyone even knowing that Larson was going to race. I think he may have talked, I think some people were talking about it, August 3rd. May have been when he talked about doing it at Port Royal. But I made this video, and it was basically talking about the threat of dirt racing to NASCAR. And how in the 90s there was a severe threat to the NASCAR rise, not only IndyCar racing, but sprint car winged racing in particular, because it had a huge fan base that didn't necessarily cheer for NASCAR too much. Didn't really cheer for asphalt racing too much. So they did a very interesting marketing plan, in my opinion, and you can go research the business inlets and outlets and the manipulational schemes to basically change the big fan, or take the big fan base. They played somewhat of a Hunger Games situation onto the dirt track world, where they basically took it from, you know, celebrating, you know, the Kenzer Swindells to celebrating the Jeff Gordons, Tony Stewarts, Casey Kanes, the Cole Trickle effect, as I call it, the NASCAR driver versus the dirt driver in NASCAR, which then transitions all of the fans of that dirt or sprint car sector to watching NASCAR races on Sunday. Late model racing technically never had that effect. Scott Bloomquist and others, they tried to do it with, I keep forgetting the dude's name, but that's exactly what I mean. But late model racing never had that effect, so their fan base has been heavy. You see the top 10 names on the board there. A lot of people would rather watch them on a dirt surface. They don't care about the Tyler Reddicks more than they do Jonathan Davenport or Jimmy Owens. They're not leaving their dirt track screen to go watch the NASCAR screen. Now, when I was making this video, it was in allusion to what they're trying to do with late model racing, which is they want to do it to late models next. They want young drivers and the stars of late model racing to not necessarily be late model racers. They want to take from that fan base as well and get that fan base watching on Sunday. So the interesting thing, I originally thought they were going to do it like the what's that young little kid who's going to run World of Outlaws? They're going to just bring up little kids up in there. But a smarter way to do it is what they're doing right now. Because now, if you're a illogical late model fan, you would think that Kyle Larson is just the greatest of all time, and he's doing some amazing things. But you would think that your guys are just this lower level. Now Kyle Larson has came into your realm and destroyed your guys as well. And now, right before he goes back to NASCAR, it looks like over the last year's time, there was a very interesting certain set of circumstances that led to pretty much everyone in dirt track racing going to follow Kyle Larson back to NASCAR. Because we saw the posts, the news articles in the recent years, how dirt racing is the newest threat with the Dirt in Decembers and all that stuff, really taking a rise and starting to catch public eye. But now, the best way to, defeat that is similar to the 90s way they did it. And that is to go back down and change who they're cheering for and who they're watching. Bring as many eyes from the dirt scene on Saturday night to watching the Cup race on Sunday afternoon. That way they keep staying on top. And that looks like what has progressed and is happening here. I mean, if you're a dirt late model guy, you just got fucking whopped. I mean, Brandon Overton lapped. Kyle Bronson, home state, lapped. I mean, Jonathan Davenport, all these guys destroyed. Larson is now helping the crowd. People want to see him race. That makes no sense to me. Stop with the BS, man. Just talk racing for once. I am talking racing. I'm talking about how more than your little backwoods shop operates. I'm talking about how the business of racing operates. This is how you manipulate fan bases to not cheer for your team, but to cheer for theirs, using a figure at the same time to do it. Now, they've done it. It's done. He's going back. He's not, according to what he's been saying, he's not going back to any dirt racing for the month here. He is going to run 20 more late model races, which good luck when that happens. It seems like he's going to dominate. But is he the Dick Trickle at the same time? Because that's what the NASCAR fans have reacted. The NASCAR fans have reacted to this as Kyle Larson is a Dick Trickle. Now, for those who don't know who Dick Trickle is, he won over 1,000 short track races, went to NASCAR, was mediocre, won a few Busch Series races, and then killed himself, actually, after some bad hip surgery, was in severe pain, and killed himself. They did a documentary on him, and you had guys like Rusty Wallace and people like that saying they believe Dick Trickle was better than Kyle Petty or Yarbrough's or Earnhardt's or Gordon, but he was just a short track guy, And if you're a dumb NASCAR fan, you're starting to think that about Kyle Larson. You're starting to think that Kyle Larson is the modern day Dick Trickle. And let me show you a little post. I mean, I can find thousands of them just like this. I can find thousands of them. But this was a post right here. This was actually alluding to, Elliott running the Chili Bowl. And some guy, this is a wide and broad opinion by NASCAR fans. This right here. He said, Robert Jones, one of those NASCAR guys, speaking of Larson, pretty much dominated the open wheel dirt world this summer Even his first weekend ever running a super late model resulted in a feature win. That same guy only has 6 wins in a Cup car. And like I said, this is in relation to somebody talking about NASCAR guys getting special treatment at the Chili Bowl. Now, I'm bringing that up because that guy right there who's saying that has no idea how racing works. He's sitting there thinking, Kyle Larson's just a NASCAR guy who went and dominated dirt. What's to say that, a Chase, even though Chase Elliott and all them got their asses waxed, what's to say that all these other guys ain't as good? So that's the other angle of marketing that happens here. People think that Kyle Larson's a Dick Trickle, not that great. He goes up into NASCAR, they put him in a shitty ride, and then Chase Elliott or Bubba Wallace kicks his ass, and now the world thinks that Chase Elliott and the Bubba Wallaces are better than Mike Marlar, Jimmy Owens, Brandon Shepard, Devin Moran, Tyler Erb, Greg Satterley, Jonathan. All these names on this list are now, to the regular person, not the educated one, but the regular person now views all these other NASCAR guys that can beat Kyle Larson on Cup racing on Sunday better than this entire list you see in front of you. Now, they didn't beat Devin Moran and these guys by 15.8 seconds, but this is AAA. If you go to the pro levels and now somebody else beats Kyle Larson, that makes sense. They can do the same to these guys. He only has won 6 Cup races. Now, we know that that's because of quality of ride. We know that's a fact. We also know that now he's going back to a Hendrick car. But does everybody just forget that a Hendrick car is not always the best car? And I'm somewhat halfway worried about this. I told Kyle, I think you pushed the button on purpose last year. You went from, getting your ass beat at the preliminary nights at Knoxville, California Sprint Week guys kicking your ass in a 42 car that sucks. You literally in a year's time went from that, somewhat relevant in the world to now the most relevant NASCAR name in the world because of what happened with the button and everything. You're dubbed the greatest of all time sprint car and apparently dirt track racer ever now, and you have 2 Chili Bowls. Like if somebody came up to him and said, hey, no matter what happens in a year, this is going to happen, you cannot turn down that opportunity. But opportunity or offer. But at the same time, somebody just said it's not even AAA. Well, we know that, but the world doesn't. So slow down. This is why that guy over there that I just showed you a post is sitting there saying a NASCAR guy went to the dirt world this last year and destroyed all the open wheel guys and won his first time weekend in the late model, and he only has 6 Cup wins. So I'm not saying it's AAA. You're not saying it's AAA. I'm just talking about the big business that runs all this stuff. Everybody says it takes dollars to do this. Well, who owns all the dollars? Who has the investments? Where's everything being placed? That's what I'm talking about. So the regular world thinks that way. And Kyle Larson, even though, he's going to a Hendrick car, does everyone just forget the 25 cars, like the Jerry Nadeau 25s, that were Hendrick cars at Hendrick Motorsports that were not that great? There's a certain cars that get certain attention even in Hendrick Motorsports itself over the years that just didn't have the speed that the other Hendrick cars do. Now, that's the unfortunate part about racing is NASCAR is not necessarily a sport. They can kind of pick and choose who they want to finish up front or who they want to finish at the back based on car quality. And when you consider there's about 10 to 15 people you could sit in a room in NASCAR that pretty much own all the cars and are all the officials and own the series, it's about 15 people who really run things. You can pretty much make anything happen that you want. You can pretty much make anyone finish where they want. And for the sake of gambling purposes and moving a lot of money, that other money that no one wants to talk about, the other free money outside of tax dollars, gambling money, you could definitely, have a referee blow a call, if you know what I'm saying. So It's very interesting how that series operates, but the world doesn't know this. They think that it's the pros, and obviously Kyle Larson just proved to the world last night that this is AAA. That's the message that is being sent from the businessmen on top. So, the sad part about this Kyle Larson going back to NASCAR is after him winning, I see so many people sitting back and saying, this is, he's just a great short track guy. He's the Dick Trickle. He's a Dick Trickle. He can do it short track, but he only has 6 Cup wins. He's not too bad. He can't get it done against the big boys on Sunday. You can go find that comment, that style of comment all over the internet right now. You can go find that everywhere by NASCAR fans and really regular people. If you got them in a room and explained it to them like they do on their mainstream networks that they bought in with the Carlyle Group and Disney, you can do that. You can get away with it. You can manipulate the herd. And that's what keeps you with your big sponsorships and big advertisements. But people don't care about that. The sad part of this all is I am a firm believer that Kyle Larson is the greatest driver in NASCAR for sure, along with Christopher Bell. I'll give Denny Hamlin a little nod. I'll give, Kyle Busch a little nod, maybe a Martin Truex Jr., but I watched him, finish up at the front and at the back based on his car quality too. But at the end of the day, if you need an example of how NASCAR car quality is everything, it doesn't. You're riding in those cars more than driving in those cars. Just look at Christopher Bell's 2020 season, where we know that he's just as good as Kyle Larson, and that makes him just as good as any driver in the NASCAR Cup Series. But the man literally averaged a 20-place finish. The man literally averaged a 20-place finish in NASCAR 2020, and that's because he was in a car that was a 20th place car. So whatever happens in Cup racing, which the bigger picture I'm trying to do or say to you right now is everything that's happened in this last year, all the late model stuff, everything. Driver, great. Cars, equal or not, up to your determination. I'm not saying it. And at the end of the day, it is all about getting every single dirt fan that watches this dirt shit, the competition in this promoters competition between different forms of motorsport, because the biggest threat to a Cup race on Sunday is a sprint car race on Saturday night, because they're both going after the same advertisers, the same money, the same corporate dollar, right? You want to say it's all about the money, but you don't want to understand how they work. You just want to live in your little playpen. But at the same time, that's the biggest threat. So, in my opinion, everything we've seen here in the last year is to get every single dirt fan in America off giving a damn about their drivers and their series on to watching Sunday races and making the NASCAR ratings get a little bit of a bump up. Because that's the only way they were going to get their right-wing fan base back to watching. Because now you got you a representative, buddy. Now, obviously, they got their left-wing representative with Bubba Wallace. They played that card very well. They had a damn Trump rally, basically, at Daytona last year, and then 6 months later, they're on knees praising Black Lives Matter. They ain't doing nothing but playing sides for money. So now, they sit this Kyle Larson back down here to get their traditional fans that left them to dirt track racing, and now he went down here, waxed everyone's ass in sprint car and late model racing, got all the fans behind him now because he's just that fucking badass. And now when he goes and races here in Daytona coming up, you're all going to fucking tune in, and that's how you get people to come and watch. You pick your person out of the sector of the Hunger Games, and that's what brings all the fish to watch him on the screen. So, that's what's happened here. But as far as Kyle Larson on the track on the Cup side, I mean, I think he's one of the best. He's better. Him and Bell are the best over there. But at the same time, their car quality is going to make the difference. Just like I think it made a big difference in this late model race, car quality. Are they going to let it be a regular late model next time he races after he's went back to NASCAR? I don't know. Their goal right now is to fend off the biggest threat to NASCAR dominance, and that's dirt track racing. And they're using Kyle Larson to fend it off. Who else might be getting some hands in the cookie jar? Because obviously Larson is. Who else is getting hands in the cookie jar to make sure this happens? I don't know. Most of the time, these big, groups and investment firms have a lot of buddies in these other big groups and investment firms, and they just kind of make deals and throw things under the rug to help their investments. So maybe that's what's going on. I know I'm talking a little bit too deep in intellect for some out there, and I know not a lot of people has been in the business management sector, or they've been in the business management sector and they just been drunk on money, so they never actually understand how it's moving and how it works. But that's how it works. I still think it's insane that the NASCAR fans think that Kyle Larson is just a good dirt track racer. That's ridiculous. Obviously, he can hold a wheel and move his feet decently. That takes a lot of skill, more skill than most people think. I think that it's going to be interesting to see what happens when he goes back to Cup racing. How good will the 5 car be? That's going to be the biggest determining factor for how Kyle Larson succeeds into NASCAR racing. All of a sudden, I almost want to watch it and see what he does. And then at the same time, I catch myself saying, wow, that's what they've been wanting me to do this entire time. That's what Kyle Larson is here to do. Kyle Larson is here to get me to watch NASCAR again. and I tell you, this morning I was thinking about, I was reading all these Larson hate comments from NASCAR, just a good short track guy, just a Dick Trickle, this is that. I'm like, I need to talk about this NASCAR season because these fucking NASCAR people are stupid. I need to watch this. I need to watch Daytona when they go green to see what he does now. And I have to be behind Larson on this. It's fucked up, man. These people think he sucks. Hell no. Look what he just did. But that's what they want. Business is manipulation. Marketing is manipulation. It's to get you to spend your time or your money on them. And time is money, as someone said. Sometimes time management and money management are different, but they're trying to get it from you. And they're using this piece to get it done. So, that's what I have to take away from this. If I'm any of the late model guys, I would love to see the private group chats right now in the late model. Because these late model guys are not like sprint car guys. Sprint car guys, the sprint car world, y'all are happy to be on the track with Kyle. Y'all are hoping that after the race you can get his autograph. Y'all are stroking his ego so bad in the open wheel world. These late model guys are not like that. Now, I see a few of them are being paid, or a few of them are up in age, and they just want to be old good grandpappy to everybody. But there's a few in here that are not too happy about what just happened. And if you've ever seen the accusation sheet on Scott Bloomquist of cheating anytime he beats somebody by a few seconds, I'm assuming that list is pretty long on Kyle Larson today in some private group chats. There's a lot of people accusing that 6 car of being illegal. A lot of people accusing that 6 car of being illegal. And I'm in PA, and let me tell you something, buddy. I'm in the sprint car wing world. I should take it back. Not everybody wants to eat lunch with Kyle Larson. There's people swearing up and down that 57 ain't legal in the wing world either. Now, they can't speak up as much as you late model guys can because there's so many damn, ego strokers for this shit in the wing world. You say something like that, you may lose a sponsor in the wing world. Oh, hell no. That's our buddy and our friend and our pal. But in the late model world, I am just assuming that there are some amazing chats going on right now about that 6 car. Amazing chats. Now, Larson's really good. Could Kyle Larson win this race if everybody's car was the same and there was no difference between every single car? It was a fixed setup, fixed car, fixed tire. No, everyone has the same race car. Could Kyle Larson win this race? Yeah. Same in the wing sprint car world. If everybody had the same vehicle, same car, same setup, same track, could Kyle Larson win a lot of the wings? Yeah. But 15.8 seconds ain't just winning a race. 15.8 seconds ain't just beating another guy. Lapping Brandon Overton ain't just beating somebody. Especially, I think Overton started in front of him. So that's what I would say. I mean, Larson is really good. One of the best in America. I continuously say it. I don't know where people get mixed up. But there's some stuff going on here that is marketing based. The goal is to get you to watch every single NASCAR race this season. The goal is to get back the fan base that NASCAR lost to dirt track racing. That is the big business, big daddy person who cuts Larson's big time check in NASCAR's goal. And the corporations that are invested into NASCAR. And if you want to go look into that list, it ain't just City Chevrolet and a special set of match fucking tires. So there's a big list on getting every dirt fan back to NASCAR. Because that's the fan base they lost that almost has them kicked off of TV. Of course, NBC SN is closing down. They're going to be moving the NASCAR races and everything to the USA Network. But streaming services are taking over, which makes dirt a bigger threat than ever. Which is why they are out here with their sword named Kyle Larson trying to take the beast down. That's how I see it. I see it from big business marketing and manipulation because I've been in the marketing game for a while and been on the other side of the fence with the big business and seen how they blow their fucking loads. And it ain't on somebody winning a race. It's on their bank accounts and their viewers. Which in the media world, that's how you make a big bank account, is with the viewers. And when you lose them, you got to find a way to get them back. And you can't just say, hey, dirt people, watch NASCAR, please. You do exactly what you've done in the last 8 months. Beautifully marketed, beautifully planned. And like I told Kyle at the Chili Bowl, at a bar after the Chili Bowl, I said, do you know what NASCAR is begging for right now? Begging. Is for you to go out there and somehow, one way or another, you get into it with Bubba Wallace. Oh, they are begging to live on silent racism. That is very rampant in the dirt track racing world, I might add. So, they are begging for that. That's the next marketing move. Kyle Larson versus Bubba Wallace. It's coming at some point. I bet you they'll be talking about it throughout the broadcast as they're, waiting for an hour and a half for someone to pass another car because NASCAR racing sucks. Which is why racing overall is dying, because it represents racing to the public. They don't know what a sprint car late model is, but they've heard of NASCAR. So it's an overall destructive situation. But anyway, that's what I think. I think I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, I was going to look at comments. I'm getting out of here. I got things to do, videos to finish up. But that's what I think of the whole situation. That's my honest thought.